21st Century Gypsy is a special song in many ways. First of all, the song structure is completely unusual and different from pop compositions and contemporary music. It's Balkan and Oriental infused, so it has some Andalusian, it has some Arab, Eastern Europe kind of vibe to it, but it is synthesized into cold, experimental, plucky synths, which contribute to the metaphor of the cold times of modern society. So it has a really deep and important message. That's why also we opted, when we were making the video, to put the lyrics, because it's so deep. So deep, people only going to get it if they read it, you know. So let me explain a bit how it all went down. So first of all, we wanted to get this metaphor of a gypsy living in today's society, so someone who's so fond of freedom. The initial idea was to have this Romanian-Bulgarian gypsy lifestyle, countryside village, you know, and we've shot some images, which kind of like went with the idea, but then as it's 2021, people like really visual stuff, and more like they want it to be beautiful and shiny and all polished up. So we decided to go for this gitan chic, this bohemian style, which is like more modern and more luxurious. So it became more of a castle with horses and beautiful clothes type of thing, which kind of at the end it fits very well, because the lifestyle of gypsies anyways isn't the same anymore in the 21st century. The belly dancer. So I got in touch with this American girl who's moving to Belgium. She has her online web shop, and she's a dance teacher, professional dance and stuff. She does it really, 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 really well. She's so professional, and she had this like this fire going on, this fire act, and it was just a perfect match with the song. And she said, it's like you've written the song for me. The song is about me, she said, and that was like a beautiful compliment, because that was like, okay, this song may be a bit strange and like how do I put it, like something that's never been done before, but in a way that it still can move people. I've had a friend, he saw the movie clip, he was in tears, because it's such a beautiful message of freedom. The flamenco dancer is yet again a very talented dancer. She's from Spain. She gives flamenco classes, and it's like some people ask me, what is she doing in the video? But the fact is, 21st Century Gypsy isn't a person specifically. It could be me, it could be the belly dancer, it could be the flamenco dancer, it could be anyone really. So anyone who feels that way, or who has been put in a position to wake those emotions. And I think people who have been in certain positions in life and have lived certain situations, they definitely will recognize some of the aspects in this song. So it's kind of an abstract image, the 21st Century Gypsy. It's... The main inspiration for this song was this book I found in a second-hand store, in a thrift shop. Really, it's like, I don't know if anyone has read it lately, but it's called Future Shock by Alvin Toffler, and that's why I wanted to put some references in the song as a tribute to the late Mr. Alvin Toffler, who was an American futurologist of the 1970s. And so Alvin was right is just a clear message of saying that he made some predictions and forecasts about society, and he made those statements in 1970. So thing is, we all know there's some stories about predictions and people who think they can see the future, and they're all mainly so vague and apocalyptic and such a bunch of bullshit, really, because they make it so vague it fits with everything. But the interesting part with this book was that some things, it's not like a prediction, it's more like an analysis of how things were going, and really predicting more the way to go to. And that's why it's so interesting that 50 years later, like, the majority is spot on in 2021. So Alvin described how we start to live in our brain, really. So he invented the word information overload. So the constant exposure to data, the rise of the internet, the rise of use of personal electronic devices, so like smartphones and stuff for personal. He said we're going towards a super industrial society, and that's what is. Every year it's becoming bigger and bigger, this aspect of an industry, really, like products, and you're only good to consume, really. He said to survive, the important part is to adapt. It's like back to basics. So how can you adapt? But there's so many changes in so little time, so it comes with a lot of stress and anxiety. He says there's going to be a rise of stress and anxiety. Hence the word future shock, because it's going to be such a big shock, he said. Like, and if you see today with Corona, it's incredible how many people have suffered from depression, anxiety, how many suicides there have been, because there's such a pressure on us, really, of living in a society where it's always got to be more, it's got to be more powerful, it's got to be more, it's got to be cheaper, it's got to be more effective, it's got to go faster, and it's always more, and that puts a lot of stress. Alvin was also right about in vitro fertilization and genetic manipulation. I recently saw this documentary about CRISPR, how they really found like the key to genetic manipulation in human DNA. And so there was another piece of the puzzle coming together in reference to this book, because he predicted the importance of genetic manipulation and how this affects the human behavior in wanting to always better itself. So that makes me think as well of this book Homo Deus by Noah Yuval Harari, who also said this, there will be a point where the human being wants to become more than itself. So he's becoming the God, creating and recreating itself and shaping another version of its own form. Things that make people dream. He predicted space colonies, and a few years ago there was an article, they said, he was wrong about the space colonies, but actually he wasn't, as I think just this year Elon Musk is super busy with his projects about wanting to make a colony on Mars and wanting to save the future for the human race and stuff like that. So that's actually something that will keep on going. It will continue to happen, that some people with the means will send spacecrafts and eventually people to other planets. Some things have really changed for the better. Some things have evolved really, really positively, and I'm so happy for that. But we have to raise an awareness for the dangers and the things that really, really are worse today than 50 years ago. So I don't want to lecture. That's not the whole point, but it's just this song was just to raise an awareness in the cold neoliberal technocracy of super consumerism that we live in today, where everything is about marketing and sales and just getting more sales and getting more gains and money and power. And that's a really vicious situation we have going on today, and that is only getting worse. So it was really to raise an awareness about those things, and I guess anyone with a bit of sensitivity and profoundness, deepness in his soul or her soul will definitely feel this. So hence the metaphor of the golden chains that actually bind us all. Maybe it's time to liberate ourselves from those dogmas and try to live a bit differently towards something more meaningful and fulfilling.